Welcome to my channel. My name is Carla Palomino and I teach woman's embodiment. I guide women through spirituality through a feminine lens, meaning being connected to the descent, to the body, to our pussy, to our womb, and living from that place. Today I'm going to talk with you about 3 distortions that I see playing out really strongly inside of the feminine. And these are distortions that are very, very common. They're patterns that show up in women's lives, and they actually really distort her from her innate power. And when I'm talking about power, I'm talking about the unseen force inside of you that is able to create that which it is that you desire, and to really surrender into what your soul is here for. Meaning, there's what our mind is here for, there's what our ego is here for, which comes from the desire that is compensation for a wound. Like, I want to have that because I have this wound. When I was 15, I was bullied, I was made fun of, and everyone thought I was lame, and now I want to prove them all wrong, right? That is like an egoic desire. And whenever we build our life on an egoic desire, it is always doomed to leave us feeling empty, because it doesn't actually resolve the core thing, which leads us into a soul desire, which is the desire that is beneath, that is deeper, that is actually like the medicine for that core root. And so it's not in the proving, right? It's in the coming into the root and feeling actually what the medicine was that was needed and necessary. And then what you desire ends up looking usually quite different from what it is that your mind thinks that it is that you want. So let's talk about these 3 distortions that I see. So the first one, and this is actually the one that feels the most common that I see in women, is that of the damsel. And the damsel is the typical, I don't want to take responsibility for my power. I don't see myself as containing and holding power. I am not in ownership of my desire, of my energy, of my expression, of my size, of the authentic way that I express in myself. And then what ends up happening in the damsel is there's a perpetual collapse that she's living inside of. So she's not connected and owning the power inside of her womb and inside of her pussy that is really there to bring her into more fullness, more expression, and actually creating her life from this deeper place inside of her. A lot of the times women have this idea that the feminine and being in the feminine is going to be like, I'm just gonna get to like lay around and do nothing, and like a man's gonna take care of everything for me. And like, I've been a woman who has had that desire really deeply, and it's like, it sounds juicy in a way. It sounds like, oh yeah, it's like, I'm so tired of working so hard and having to show up to all these things. Like, wouldn't it just be really nice to just like not have to show up to anything and like just lay around and like have it all done for me, and like he's gonna lead my life and manage everything, and like I'm just gonna get to like be a little queen or a little princess, and like like, tell me what to do, daddy. Like, I don't know what it is that I want. And the thing is like, the feminine is utterly and deeply connected to desire, creation, expansion. She is the multiplier of things, right? When you actually listen to your womb, like the path of the womb, one of my mentors would always say this, like the path of the womb asks of more of you. So if you think that like stepping into owning your feminine power means that you get a cop out from your life, and that you get to just like sit around on the couch and do absolutely nothing and just like have it all come to you, like, it sounds in some way like that is something that you would want, right? But in reality, it's actually not. When you listen to your womb, when you listen deeper, what actually happens that reveals is like you are given different instructions. You are here for service. You are here for creation. You are here to meet the edges. You are here to show up. You are here to actually be seen. Power that is big, is overflowing. Like, you know, if you look at all the religions that have become popular, all of them inside of them have a distorted relationship to the feminine, in that they present an idea that the feminine is meek, small, and weak. She needs to be controlled. She needs to be managed. Put that eros away. Put that desire away. Put that hunger away. Be small. Be small. Be super skinny. Be tiny, but then have huge tits and ass, and and then cover it up, and then have it just be for me, right? Because that's what makes like the masculine men feel like powerful and like I am masculine, you know? But that's also a distortion of the masculine, and I will go into that in a different video. But what these religions did is they taught you to put away the deepest power that you actually hold. Now, is there an edge in which that power can be distorted and played out in a way that isn't actually true and used and expressed through wounds of like, see me, validate me? 100%. But a woman who is authentically in her power is deeply connected to her sex. She's not toning it down. She's not like letting herself be meek and controlled by a man and be small. Like, she's not pretending to have a smaller appetite than she actually has. She's not trying to be like these pornographic videos of like it's performance. It's an idea, and it has this inorganic submission inside of it, which unfortunately a distorted masculine man will be into that, because that's the only way that he gets to feel his power. And it's a kink, and it's a lot of what we are fed through the egregore, and then it's a lot of what women end up playing into, and that road leads a woman into having no full ownership of her actual pleasure, desire, size, and responsibility that it is that she actually has. You see, a lot of women beneath the damsel pattern is actually, it's a survival pattern that comes from lifetimes and the lineages of like women being men's property. And so she is like literally running a survival program inside of her that's like, I need to belong at all costs. I need to play small in all these kinds of ways so that the tribe doesn't leave me. But what we know is that we got to move out of these primal ways of thinking. Like, we're here to evolve and thrive. We're not here to just like be in survival programs. When your survival program is running you, which is going to be there, right? Like, biology is there, but there's parts of that software that are really distorting you from living from soul. When you're in those survival programs, you're in a prostitution of yourself. You're not being authentic to your soul. And what we're actually here for as humans is to be in our soul's expression, is to follow that rhythm. And so the damsel is terrified of this power. And you know, she doesn't even have to be into men, right? Like this can be alive in like a woman that's into whatever. But the thing about the ones that have like the outer skin of like really like compassionate, empathetic kind of energy, there's a fucking killer inside of there. And that's more so what I help women with. I help with women with all, but it's like those women have a ruthless killer inside of there that is like ice cold. That doesn't give a flying fuck. And a woman has to meet and integrate that part of her in order to actually be integrated and whole. Just like the rebel, like powerful one that's like, needs to integrate how deeply soft she is. Like, that's what she needs to integrate. And be honest that that part is inside of her. Because if not, what happens is like, it comes out sideways. And so for the compassionate, empathetic, like, I want to save the world and I want to save the trees and I want to save the earth and like, I want to feel the part of you that's a fucking cunt and a killer, because that's what's actually inside of there. And I can feel it. We can feel it, you know? So it's like distorted bitch energy. And so when you integrate these parts of yourself, you come into deeper parts of your power. Okay, let's go into the second distortion of the feminine, which is the ultimate hard shell of empowered woman who doesn't have a relationship to her really tender desire to have love and cultivate love, and to like really live from more heart and have more of her softness intact. And she lives from this energy of empowerment that actually is deeply costing her. And it's costing her because she has found comfort inside of her lone wolfness. She knows exactly how to be in her power when she is alone or when she's running the show. But the place where she really is terrified and lacks skill and lacks the vulnerability and lacks really just like the acceptance of desiring intimacy, connection, others, she's lacking that, and she's compensating that through like, I'm okay just living how I'm living. Like, I'm okay just, you know, getting by in this way, and like, this can be enough for me. But deep down, there's a like deep inability to actually create what it is that she deeply desires, which is relationship, which is like really tending to that. And I see this more and more and more and more in women. It's become this place where like, and this leads into the golden pussy, which is the third distortion. It leads into this place where a woman is like, well, I have all the things. I'm emotionally intelligent. I'm successful. I'm purpose-driven. I have the community. I have the looks. I've done the therapy. I've done the inner work. I don't get it. I have all of these things. I have all of these things on paper. And look at my life. Like, I've created all these beautiful things in so many different ways, but like, why am I still not able to receive this deeper thing that I really, really desire? And you either have to kill off, which is what a lot of women you either have to kill off that desire, like you kill off what it is that you really desire there, or you come up with like a bunch of reasons and excuses as to like why men can't meet you, why you can't be met there, why no one meets your standards, and you just harden and harden and harden, and you become more and more and more perpetually untouchable. And I've also known this in myself, of like being so caught up in this idea of like how it has to look, or what you like, you know, like what it has to look like, and blah blah blah, and like how I need to be met in order for me to open, and all this stuff, that it really is just this like deep avoidance. And this bleeds into so it's like superwoman woman, but like lacking this deep thing that she really desires. And it's not like throw the baby out with the bathwater. Oh, okay, well then, you know, and this is what a lot of women do. Oh, well, if I can't have I can't like live my life and my purpose and my mission, and at the same time have the partnership that I desire, I have to choose one or the other. I have to like be the trad wife, or I have to be like the modern day boss bitch, thing, right? No, it's not how it works, right? Like, this is what happens, but there's actually a middle path. There's actually something more integrated, and this feeds back into the mother, who's like, she has what it is that she desires at that core. Like, she has that desire. If that is your desire, she has that there, right? It's not that every single woman is like supposed to be a mother, right? But like, it's not in her soul's journey per se to have that. But maybe it's just a partnership, right? But she gets to also live deeply inside of her mission and live from that. And there's so much power there. And so when a woman is so deep inside of that, and she's like, oh, I have to throw the baby out with the bathwater, she ends up like in some way having to like sacrifice or abandon some part of herself. And it's not that sacrifice is not a part of it. You have to sacrifice different parts of yourself, letting different parts of yourself die and go, and you evolve and you shift. But it's like, it doesn't mean you have to cut off. If you have to cut off any essential part of yourself, what you're living out is not true. Like, if you have to cut off an essential part of yourself to have a desire, then like your desire is in essence distorted. And so bleeding into when a woman has this like highly empowered, like a man has to, in order for me to be yes, this leads into the golden pussy, which is the third feminine distortion, which is having like having an untouchableness about you, to the point that like you're like better than everything and everyone else around you. Like, it's like arrogance sauce to the max. Like, it's just hardcore, like, I will only open if this and this and this and that. And inside of that is not only a huge entitlement, but a huge cutoff from your actual hunger and opening and desire. And being in like true instinctual connection to what it is that you actually desire, like what it is that you what actually opens you. Talked about this in a different video, but it's the kind of thing where it's like, I will only have it if like it looks like this, and I don't have to work that hard for it to have, like, even in your business, right? It's like, I don't want to have to show up every day and be vulnerable for this thing. Like, really sell, really show up, really like be in that kind of energy of like, oh yeah, I'm really pouring myself into something. How this shows up romantically is like, he has to be 6'5", blue eyes in finance, instead of admitting that you're into the 5'6", tall, like guy with the dad bod that like just you would have never expected in 1,000 years to be into. And like, that's the truth of what turns your pussy on. And there's a vulnerability inside of getting honest with ourselves about what actually moves us, like what actually feeds us, what actually nourishes us, what actually is true for us to have and to receive, right? And the opposite of golden pussy energy, which is deeply entitled, deeply closed off, deeply walled, is actually humbleness and reverence and responsibility of your own opening. Like, it's not, oh, the algorithm is not pumping my views or pumping my video how I want it to have these views. I'm gonna give up, or I'm gonna stop now. It's information, and it's like, I'm gonna keep pouring into this and learning and growing and devoting. I'm going to keep holding my opening, you know? It's like the long game. It's the long game opening. And it's super, super, super different from like, just doesn't meet me. Just like doesn't deserve me. So, where do you see yourself in this? What in this video did you find yourself touched by, irked by, irritated by? Because that gives you a clue as to what is your next step on your journey into opening. And once you do, when you begin that process, there is so much that opens for you. There's so much medicine inside of there. So if you want to work with me, I have some ways of working with me right now. You can work with me through Loba Initiations, or you can sign up, you can apply to my upcoming year-long journey called Tierra Alma. Catch you later.